like black.
In the year 2022, I was making a video. Whilst I was making this video, I got a notification off of YouTube. I was on YouTube for some reason, and it was from a YouTuber that you drop everything to watch. And the funny thing about this video was it was pretty much the same video I was making. If you know me, you know I mentioned this quite a bit. It was about Rika Takanashi and Sanai Dekomori. Obviously it wasn't the same video, but I still uploaded mine, so... but he said something that took me by surprise in this video, and that was, Season 2 is disappointing. And obviously, hardcore Chuunibyou fan, I was confused. I respected this man's word, and obviously I'm not one to defend my beliefs without hard proof. So when I came to watch Chuunibyou, like I do annually, I looked out for his criticisms. And, well, he didn't actually say any criticisms. He just said it's disappointing and it's not up to the level of Season 2. And when I watched it, I understood what he meant. Every year, I watched it, I was wondering, should I watch it the next year? That feeling was coming from Season 2. But I only narrowed that down to what exactly was making me feel that way from the start of this year, 2024. Chuunibyou isn't a mental disorder. It's delusions of a 12-year-old. Stop acting like it's a mental disorder. The characterization of Chuunibyou is a hard topic to focus on because it's a concept, not a character. And to focus on this, we need to focus on the two main pieces of this story. And I do realise that a fair few of my viewers don't know what Chuunibyou is, despite making a video on it last month. And that Chuunibyou is a word because of cringe. Chuunibyou is a concept because of cringe. Chuunibyou exists because people thought they were cringe and they came up with a word for it. In Season 2, Chuunibyou isn't treated as cringe, whereas in Season 1 it is a drama because of the way we are supposed to think about Chuunibyou. It is the reason Toka acts the way she does. And before I go on, I need to provide proof. And that proof is in the way the mundanes treat it. The mundanes are Toka, Yuta, and the random people on the beach. I'm talking about Season 2 specifically here. And they treat it in a specific way. Let's start with the people at the beach in comparison to the movie. In the movie, Deko goes to the Sky Tree to get Rika and Yuta back. And during this, she does a complete embarrassing Chuuni-like performance. And the people in the Sky Tree act physically and, depending on the person, audibly cringed out by Deko. And this is important because Chuunibyou is a cringe thing. Especially at Deko's age, especially in the movie, around 17, 18. No, 16, 17, she's a year younger, my bad. The people in the beach in Season 2 see it as a kind of performance. They see it, they clap, they appreciate it, you know. But that's not what Chuunibyou is. They'd look at this cringe performance and they would try to distance themselves from it. They'd cringe out, they'd ignore it. Especially in Japan, when they have this culture of, I don't know how to describe it, it's a culture of lack of cringe. You don't want to make a public disturbance. And they see a public disturbance and they go, you know? And then there's Toka. Toka in Season 2 seems to be more mellowed out. She doesn't act angry. The only thing she's angry about in Season 2 is the fact that Yuta and Rika are living together, even though she was rarely in the house with Rika when she was living there. So, and that's fair enough. It's a character thing. It's not a thing to take away. She isn't angry about the Chuunibyou, the fact that her sister is still a Chuuni. She's just, you know, if you see her face, she's even like, oh yeah, you know, and this goes against her complete disagreement with it in season 1. She was vehemently against it. Rika is 16, right? She shouldn't be acting this way. Chuunibyou, 8th grader syndrome, you know? She's not in 8th grade anymore. I don't know what, is that year 9 or year... No, it's year 7, yeah. She's not a year 7 anymore. My god. She's, in this age, 16 is a year 11, right? That's grade 12, I think. Yeah, grade 12. You understand? You understand? Right? And it's reasonable she's acting this way, even, like, from her point of view. But in season 2, she's watching her act, and from our point of view, this isn't okay. Okay? She's still acting this way, and Toka's like, yeah, it's okay. You're just teenagers, you know. And, like, especially later on, she's like, oh, she sees a bunch of chuny teenagers, and she just leaves it be. She's like, oh, it's just teenage romance, you know. But, like, I think almost as bad as that is Yuta's. Yuta continues to act as a chuny himself. He's not to the level of Rika or Deko, but he acts as a chuny just randomly. Not because he is one, or he's like Rika or Deko, but because he just does it for Rika, right? And yes, he did this in season 1, but in season 1 he did it because he was trying to cheer her up. He was trying to get something out of her, not in that way. And he was doing it for a reason. And this, if there is a reason, then it's shallow. And there's no reason for that, you know? He doesn't need to perpetuate her Chuunibyou-ness, especially, like, seeing as she's got nothing for it to fucking continue, whatever. These two characters acting in this way makes it seem like being a Chuunibyou is okay. And we know, in Deko's case, it might be. But in Rika's case, it is not. It continues the idea that being a Chuunibyou is okay and it's not cringe, which goes against the very essence of the word. But I don't think the characterization of Chuunibyou itself is the worst case here. I think the worst case is Sanai Dekomori. The characterization of her, of course. Personally, my biggest issue with the characterization of this series is the characterization of Sanai Dekomori. The characterization of Sanai Dekomori in season 1 was a rich and smart girl who was bored and therefore became a chuny because it was fun. Dekomori is a generational shit stirrer. She is a genuinely great shit stirrer because it's fun to do, and she even did it during her first meeting with Yuta, and she got a blicky pulled on her. But most notably, she was a shit stirrer with her best friend, Shinka Nibatani. She used the Mabinogion for this. The Mabinogion is a book based off of Nibatani's old blog posts from her chuny phase that Dekomori probably downloaded and stored electronically and then prints off whenever she breaks or loses a copy of it. Where season 2 differs from season 1 in this specific sense is that Dekomori worships the Mabinogion. In season 1, it was probably just what the lore of her character was based off of, and what she used to make her little adventures with Rika be about, you know? But she turns it to something she worships. Season 2 makes her seem like a genuine mad woman, because she believes the BS she is spouting. We understand this because of her genuine reaction to Nibatani. The fact that she believed that Nibatani is finally this being that wrote this book. Some mythological being, and the fact that later on she falls for a fake and a groomer. It makes everything she did in season 1 seem like she was trying to usurp a false god, where she genuinely just loved messing with Nibatani. It's very disappointing, you know? It makes Deko seem like an anti-vaxxer, you know? Makes her seem like she's trying to deal with this problem in an anti-vaxxer way, like, here, have some essential oils, you'll feel better about your dad in 12 days, give or take a decade. It's just really disappointing. Other than the anti-vaxxer side, it goes against Dekomori's whole character more than that. She loved her relationship with Nibatani. It was part of the reason she loved going to school, in all honesty, if you if you really care for that part. It's because that relationship had defined her last year of middle school, I think. Because Rika was going through her shit. And obviously, you know, and the fact that season 2 goes ahead and ruins it by making her seem genuinely insane. It not only ruins her old characterization, it makes her seem worse in season 1 than she actually is. It also ruins the rest of the Chuuni's characterizations, where, in all honesty, Rika and Sashimiya, other than one disappointing episode, were characterized fairly normally. And in fact, I do like Rika's characterization in this season. But Deko ruins it for them all by making all Chuunis look like they believe in it, where Rika definitely doesn't, truly, and Sashimiya is just living in the past. This doesn't mean I dislike new characterization or a different characterization of developed characters, because I don't mind what they did with Kumin in this season. It's just that when you ruin your old characterization by the creation of the new one, it's kind of upsetting, like with Yuta and his disliking of his best friend, you know, Ishiki. It's almost like he hates him, which goes against his characterization in season 1. And I'm sad what they did about Dekomori, because she is genuinely one of the best characters in this series. I recorded this last. This season could have been great, man. A lot of what I'm about to say is what could have happened or what I wish could have happened, you know, because I'm not a mind reader. But this season probably was supposed to be the final stages of Rika's arc, where she learns that Chuunibyou isn't permanent. And I believe that this season should have focused on Yuta more, and I think that's apparent by looking at the appearance of Sashimiya. Sashimiya is a piece of his past, and that was obvious. I think this is shown by the fact that he starts liking Chuunibyou more, as I mentioned earlier. He starts acting as a Chuuni more. He starts not agreeing with it, but starts like warming up to the idea of his Chuuni self a lot more. And I think this was supposed to be tied to the appearance of Sashimiya. And I think this was supposed to tie into Rika's arc, because it would solidify her connection of Chuunibyou to her boyfriend. It would make her believe that Rika herself could not be loved without having the Chuunibyou. And I believe that they didn't go that route because they didn't know how to write a Chuuni-less Rika, even though, you know, I could. And, but because he's been warming up to it, the Chuunibyou, and that she would notice that he'd be doing that, it would make the threat of the love triangle even worse, and it'd be worth something more than making us worry for 0.21 seconds. Because she would genuinely worry. She'd go, he's warming up to this thing, something he didn't warm up to me last year, because his friend showed up. The ties of Yuta to Sashimiya would make her panic during the school trip. It would make her panic to find the dragon. The Black Flame Dragon. It was supposed to be a metaphor. It was, it was supposed to be a metaphor. It was supposed to be a metaphor. The dragon was supposed to represent their willingness to give up Chuuni. Because it shows Rika's devotion yet delusion, and it shows Satone's attachment to the past and her unwillingness to give up on it. It was supposed to be that. It was supposed to be that. The releasing of the dragon was supposed to represent Yuta saying that he'll still love Rika even if she's not a Chuunibyou, and to tell Satone that she has to look forward instead of looking to the past, to accept that. To accept that I'm not crying. And even if it means having to deal with her crush without the aid of Chuunibyou delusion. This season could have been way better, with just minor tweaks. Like, even the Dekomori episodes, like the first one, with her aiding Nibatani's presidential campaign. And it could have been fixed easily. You don't have to change anything, except make Deko malicious. Make everything out to be malicious. And then with the grooming episode, you could have just had it because Rika's slowly losing her Chuunibyou and she's got no one to hang out with her, so she's bored. And Nibatani is obviously leaving her be. So, yeah. This isn't me coping. I came to these conclusions a year ago, or a year and a half now. That's just how it is, you know? There's so much little pieces here that could be connected together. Like, the lack of Ishiki. Because Ishiki is Yuta's tie to the real world. He is what ties Yuta down. And the fact that Yuta doesn't have that connection as much in this season shows how easily he could have fell down the rabbit hole with everyone else in that room. But sadly, all these little pieces of information are like whispers in the wind. Gone. Never to be connected ever again. Give me a head, top, pussy wet, ma. This season had enough potential to rival season 1. I get it if the writers had to change up the story halfway through because of how much there were that kind of hinted to a better storyline and what the movie is. But if they came into it with the mindset of the original idea and just fumbled, then I'll be really mad. I think the worst victim of this was Deko with her characterization, but it's all forgiven for all the ships that we got. But, and KyoAni's signature lesbianism. Trust me. It's not even a fucking joke. I've watched like 10 KyoAni shows this year. I don't think there's a show without at least one lesbian moment, and that's crazy. And then they've got 3. That's just gay. Well, I'm distracted. Oh god, haven't watched that yet. Where was I? I was like, yeah, Deko's characterization of the ships. From a writing standpoint, it was definitely a letdown from season 1, but from an entertaining point of view, I think it was pretty entertaining. I don't know, I've only watched it like 12 times, but we obviously know you don't need to be a good show to get the people hooked. All you need to be is entertaining. Ain't that right, Naruto? I would say Bleach, but that ain't even entertaining. Past a certain point. Stop the haters. Fuck you, Bleach. I hate you. I've got you on my fucking shelf. I'm distracted yet again. What? Did I skip the last line? Let me read it. Bleach right there. I can't read, but Chuunibyou season 2. But obviously, the only episode that I have a true hatred for is episode 12. For obvious reasons. But the rest was obviously entertaining. The end of episode 12 is good as well. Not gonna hate on that. But, not the end, but like the end, you know? Wait, did I get episode... Was it episode 11? They wouldn't spend a whole episode on that, right? No, it was episode 13. God. Anyway, I'm gonna go play some Tetris. In fact, I'm gonna play it in front of you. Because this is my first chance to do that. Don't blink at me, dickhead. My fucking... Okay, I'm just gonna put it that way. Where are you? I know you're in here, bitch ass nigga. The screen on my Game Boy fell off. And I'm not even fucking joking. Tetris DX, I guess, because we'll play that. It means a better version. And that smells funny. Okay. Anyway. What was I saying? Yeah, Chuunibyou is one of my favourite shows. All time, obviously, 3 episodes, 3 videos in a row. Oh, you just found out? It's crazy. Chuunibyou has 2 seasons in a movie. Who would have thought they'd only do 2 videos? Crazy. Anyway. Ah, fuck you. This shit goes hard as fuck in all honesty. Okay. That's good. Interrupted gameplay. She goes crazy.